Hey everyone, my name's Jim, how the hell are ya? So, Shadow the Hedgehog, the man or hedgehog, the myth, the legend, or the joke. Shadow is a much beloved character in the Sonic the Hedgehog game series, first introduced back in 1999 with the release of Sega's Sonic Adventure 2, critically acclaimed to be one of the best Sonic games of all time, if not the, in terms of 3D anyway. In that came Shadow. So Shadow in this game instantly became a crowd favourite. There was so much more to him than just being an evil Sonic. Shadow was nothing remotely like Sonic in terms of personality or any character traits at all. Sonic is outgoing, confident, and loves adventure, while Shadow is a more grounded, dark and brooding, lone wolf kind of character. A character that has had a pretty tragic dark history. I mean, if you really think about it, there's some dark shit in Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow has had his mind warped into believing that his only friend, Maria Robotnik's last wish was to punish humanity, only to realise the truth and band together with Sonic to save the family at the end of the game. And let's be real, this moment is awesome. Shadow sacrifices himself to save the world, but he's brought back in Sonic Heroes, and then Shadow the Hedgehog happened, and maybe I'll dive into that game in future, because I haven't talked about it enough already.
A Chaos Emerald? You've got to be kidding me, guys. This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
Then Sonic 06 came out, and for all of the game's faults in terms of bad frame rate drops, Shadow's story arc, and the overall depiction of him and what he's going through in that game was actually pretty good.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
But since then, we've had no good Shadow story arcs. He's become a side character, fading into the background, and then Sonic Boom turned him into this.
Saving the world? You? Don't make me laugh. You're weak. And you know what makes you weak? Your loyalty to your pathetic friends.
But despite the downfall of this character, he's still loved to this very day. I mean, how could you not love him? His design is sick, from the red stripes on his quills to the golden wristbands all the way to his fucking awesome rocket boots to help him keep up with Sonic in terms of speed. This character's design is awesome. And the tragedy of Shadow the Hedgehog, his fall from grace. How did it happen? So when Sonic Movie 2 came out, we were all treated to the reveal of Shadow being in the third movie, as it gave us an end credit scene of Shadow being like awakened in Space Colony Arc. And I remember sitting there, and as soon as I saw Shadow, I cheered and clapped. Now, I'm usually the kind of person to get a bit annoyed with loud cheering during movies like the Endgame finale or the scene where all three Spider-Men are swinging together. Call me a boring old boomer if you want, but it wasn't until that reveal that I realised the impact of these moments in films, and it just made me want to applaud and stare in awe at the screen to see this epic, heart-stopping moment appear on screen right in front of you when iconic video game characters are brought to life on screen, especially when it's a franchise that means as much to you as Sonic does to me. So in this video, I want to talk about 3 things that I'd like to see Paramount do with the character of Shadow, and I really hope they can pull it off. So far, these Sonic movies have gotten a lot right. Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Robotnik, all perfect and true to their game counterparts. Donut Lord is an interesting, well, he was in the first, he's okay. With Shadow, I'm a little worried. I want this to be good, I want this to succeed, I want them to do this character justice. So I'm just going to go out on a few points that I'd like to see in this movie involving the character of Shadow. So I'm not going to point out anything that I want to see in the movie in particular, outside of just Shadow as a character. So let's dive in, shall we? Number 3, dive into Shadow's inner struggles. So in Sonic Movie 2, we see Knuckles being manipulated by Robotnik to turn on Sonic. And while I think they did an excellent job of that, in Sonic Movie 3, I really want them to dive into Shadow's psyche and differentiate him from the same thing that happened with Knuckles in Sonic 2. So I don't want to just see the same story thread again with Robotnik tricking a character into having beef with Sonic. And I'm a sucker for the antagonist turns good as long as it's done right. I know the games technically already did this, and if Sonic Movie 2 proved anything, it's that video games can be replicated into movies if enough love and care and overall passion for the project are put into them. I really want to see them dive into how the events 50 years ago on Space Colony Arc affected Shadow, and I want to see him dealing with the loss of Maria Robotnik show flashbacks of the incidents that took place in Space Colony Arc with Gunn and everything like that, the events of Project Shadow, and just the effects that Project Shadow had on Shadow the Hedgehog mentally. They don't need to make it super dark if it's trying to appeal to a younger audience, but if Pixar can make movies about death and the meaning of life, I'm sure they can dive into something deep about Shadow's emotional state without it being like overbearing for young eyes. Sonic Adventure 2 has a lot of dark elements, which you might not notice when you're younger because of the light tone and cheesy dialogue. Not that they have to make the dialogue cheesy in this film, but these movies so far have done a pretty good job at establishing characters' inner struggles, from Sonic's desire to be a hero, Tails' struggle to fit in, and Knuckles with where his place is in the world. Shadow is a much darker and complex character who's been through the definition of hell, but it can be done with love and care. Number 2, establish how powerful Shadow is. I feel like a broken record here since the movies have already done a decent job at this with Sonic and Knuckles in particular, but I really want Sonic Movie 3 to really go all out with Shadow's powers. His ability to use Chaos Control with only one Chaos Emerald, his abilities of speed and agility, and his powers of using stuff like Chaos Spear, and hell, maybe even Chaos Blast from the Shadow the Hedgehog game. Just use that. I really want to see these powers portrayed on screen that are faithful and just make the thing look damn cool, and that will sell me either way. An example I can think of since I'm talking about this point is the MCU. The characters in the MCU are mostly toned down from their powers in the comics. I mean, what we see on screen in the MCU pre-Phase 4 is pretty good anyway, but you get what I'm saying. Well, to be fair, we all know that an MCU character's real superpower is their actors having the ability to cry and then getting endless praise for their acting.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I don't want them to do this with Shadow. I don't want Sonic Movie 3 to tone down Shadow, just make him as powerful as he is in the games. The fight between Sonic and Knuckles in Sonic Movie 2 was great, and I think they could do something similar with Shadow. Honestly, go all out with the powers, Dragon Ball Z that shit if you need to. Just make it look cool, make it entertaining, and stay true to the character. Give me a few fight encounters with Sonic and Shadow, show me them racing through Space Colony Arc at high speeds, jumping, doing acrobatics, and doing cool shit. Just make Shadow a badass, and then I will sleep at night with a smile on my face and completely relieved. And I don't mean in that way either, you dirty bastard. And finally, guys, before I get to the number 1 point, this video is brought to you by, okay, I'm joking. I'm not popular, okay? I'm not popular. Finally, at number 1, cast Jason Griffith as Shadow. I generally do miss Jason Griffith voicing Sonic in the game series, although I do really like Roger Craig Smith as Sonic in the games, as well as Ben Schwartz does a great job at voicing Sonic in these movies, but Jason is my Sonic, and I miss his voice so much. Since the 4Kids contract with Sega ended, Roger Craig Smith took over the voice of Sonic, so that means that Jason Griffith was no longer playing Sonic or Shadow. But I haven't heard a single Shadow voice actor anywhere near as good as Jason in the game series.
I'm gonna show you just how weak you are. You've got this, Sonic.
I was talking about the Doctor and his intentions.
Worthless. Don't show your pathetic face around me ever again.
No! 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 Fuck! Shit! Cunt! Balls!
His voice was awful in Sonic Boom. He just sounds like he was just completely off, and in any other title it just doesn't fit. The guy in Sonic Prime was okay, but if Jason can't voice Sonic anymore, let him come back to voice Shadow. I mean, these Sonic movies have already proven that they can cast a voice actor from the games in these movies, because they got Colleen, I'm sorry I can't pronounce her surname, but yeah, they got her back to voice Tails again for these movies. So it's not like bringing a voice actor from the games into these movies is out of the question. I hear some people like the idea of casting Keanu Reeves as Shadow, and I'm just like, no, please don't do that. Please. Please.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I mean, I love Keanu Reeves, that man is literally God in human form, but I don't want him to play Shadow. Bring back Jason, man. Bring him back. He's the perfect voice for this role. When I see Shadow, I hear Jason Griffith's voice in my head. He's the best Shadow voice, and overall, if anyone misses Jason Griffith as any Sonic character, if he can't come back and voice Sonic, because there's already a different voice actor in the games, there's a different voice actor in the films, there's a different voice actor for Sonic Prime as well. Bring him back as Shadow for this movie. I would absolutely love it. I doubt it, but I would love it.
One more thing!
So anyway guys, I just wanted to make a little experimental video, let me know what you think. I know in my last video I said that I wasn't going to make any random ideas here and there, but then it occurred to me that I have a channel with less than 400 subs, less than 350 subs if that, so I don't think experimenting is bad, or it's not going to kill me at least, so I thought I'd try it out. Anyway guys, let me know what you think of this idea down below in the comments. Hope you have a fantastic day. Remember, it's not just a movie, it's an experience. Take care everyone, and have a good day. And where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?